Good day to you. This is teacher LELAND Alejandro, and today we're going to study composition of functions. Now, uh, composition of functions means we're going to have several functions, and then one given function will be input or used as input to another function, and then the result of that may be used to another given function. So this is the nature of composite functions. So we're going to learn through examples, and we shall try to see the problem set, and we will learn through the examples that we prepared. All right, so here is the first one. Perform the indicated operation. Now, as you can see for the first number, we have here one given function, g of n, and this is equal to n plus 1. And another function, h of n, equal to 3n minus 3. Now, the notation that we're going to use is the one at the bottom, the required. Find g, composition h of n. Now, this tiny circle that you can see here, that doesn't mean multiply. This means the h function will be used as input to the g function. The right function will be the input to the left. Okay? All right. Now, just for clarity, if you have three functions, the rightmost will be input to the middle, and then the middle will be input to the leftmost. So if you have, say, for example, you have, all right, let's try to have some clear explanation first. If, say, you have, let's say, three functions, let's say a of x, and then you have another given function, say b x, and then another like c of x. Now, if you're asked to determine a of b and b of c, okay, something like this, a of b of c of x, something like this. All right, if you have something like this, then this actually means the c will be input to the b function, and then the b function result will be input to the a function. All right, now we will learn through examples. This is for three given functions. For the first number, we only have two, and we shall try to do the first number. Okay, all right. The one that you see, that particular small circle, that is not actually multiplication. That means h function is input to the g. And this means like this. All right, let's have the solution. Okay, so we usually type the word solution first, and then followed by the required. Okay, so this is g of h of n, and this means g of h of n, there, like that, where the h of n is actually this 3n minus 3, and we can now put this in the placeholder. So this means g of, all right, h of n is equivalent to this 3n minus 3. So we can now put this as the input, there. All right, now the g function is here. All right, you can see g of n. Now this g of 3n minus 3 means 3n minus 3 can now be placed into that n, and wherever you see in the equation the n, it will be replaced by 3n minus 3. So this will continue like, all right, imagine this is 3n minus 3 and it's replacing the n here. That means this n here will also become 3n minus 3. There. And then you don't forget that plus 1. So this will be followed by the plus 1. There. And so this will become the new rule. We call this the rule. And this will now be 3n minus 2. So this is equal to 3n minus 2. And this is actually the required answer. So this is the equivalent of this one. So you can actually write this left side. You can write it here. And this is equal to 3n minus 2. And is equal to 3n minus 2. Okay, that's the way to get the answer. All right, that goes to our first number. All right, let's try another example. Okay, it's down here. All right, I actually intentionally placed spaces, so it will be one problem per screen. All right, so here's number 2. We have a g function, g of x equal to x plus 1. The other function is h of x is equal to x cubed minus 5x. All right, we're asked to find g composition h of x. So this will be the solution. All right, let's have the solution for this. Okay, so we shall try to write the required. Okay, we try to write the required first. All right, here. Now, this means g of h of x. So this is equal to a g, and the input is the one at the right, the h. So this means h of x, like that. So that means you're going to use the h function as input to the g. And this looks like g of, all right, you can now try to pick up the equivalent of h of x, which is actually right here. And then place it in the placeholder there. Now you focus on the g function. Imagine this is the input to the g function. Now the input is x cubed minus 5x, which is actually the h. Now, where you see the x, it will be replaced by x cubed minus 5x. So the input now here is x cubed minus 5x. Use your imagination. And now this is equal, the x is right here. Therefore, that will also be now x cubed minus 5x. And part of g of x is the plus 1. So we will follow this by plus 1 there. That's the correct method. After which, you only need to simplify this. And that's it. If you can simplify it at all. But then there's nothing you can simplify here. There are no like terms you can combine. So this results to our final answer. So this is our final answer. All right, I hope you were able to see that kind of procedure. Let's have another example. All right, let's the third. It's way down here. Let me raise it up. Okay, here is number 3. Okay, we have here the h function equal to 2n minus 4. We have the g function, which is equal to 4n minus 5. Find h of g on the variable n, okay? All right, so this will be the solution. All right, this is how to do it. I hope you learn from our method. So we will write the required first. There, okay? And this means h of g of n. H of g of n. We're using the variable n, okay? All right, this means h of g of n. So the placeholder of h will take on the equivalent of g. So this means, let's put the equal sign over there. This will now be taking this equivalent there. There. And then you're now focused on the h function. Where you see the n, okay, it will be replaced by 4n minus 5. So the h function is 2n minus 4. All right, that means the n here will be occupied by 4n minus 5. So we will copy exactly what you see here, except for the n. The n will be now replaced by 4n minus 5. So we will start by 2, and then that is 2 times n. That means it will now be 2 times 4n minus 5. It will be this going here. There. Okay? Where you see the n here, that will be replaced by 4n minus 5. So you see the n here also. So that will be 2 times 4n minus 5, and then followed by minus 4. There. I hope you were able to see that part. and then this will now be simplified. Okay, you can now do algebraic multiplication here. 2 times 4n is 8n, and then this is 2 times the negative 5, so that's a negative 10 there. And then that will be followed by the minus 4. Now, you'll be able to simplify this. This is actually 8n minus 14 there. And then this shall be the answer, okay? All right, so that should give us the answer. Now, you may write this and then you can write there 8n minus 14 there. Okay, so you only have to multiply this. You can see this is 2n, that means 2 times the h. All right, 2 times the equivalent of the g, I mean. So that's 2 times 4n minus 5 and then minus 4. Then we multiply this, that's 8n minus 10 and then minus 4. And then that negative 10 and negative 4 combine to negative 14, and our final is 8n minus 14. Okay, that goes to our number 3 example. All right, let's continue with the next, number 4. Okay, here's number 4. Okay, we have here one given function. Now, we're asked to get g, composition g of x. Well, this means the g will be the input to itself. All right, use your imagination. Okay, you're asked to input the same function to itself. And so we do it this way. So we will start with the solution there. And this means g of g. So g of the variable x. And this will now be g of, all right, copy the function, okay? G of x. So we will start here. This is the input. There, okay? Now, where you see the x in the function will be replaced by itself. So that means this is negative 2, and then the x, that will change to the equivalent of g, there, like that. And then followed by the minus 2, there. I hope you were able to take or learn from this particular example. Input the function to itself, there. So you can see this is now replaced by negative 2x minus 2, there. And you maintain the coefficient negative 2 and the minus 2 over there. Then you will have to simplify this. That gives you a positive 4x and a positive 4. That is by multiplying this negative 2 by the negative 2x and the same negative 2 by the minus 2, which gives you a positive 4. And then we don't forget that extra minus 2 there. And then we finally simplify it. This will be 4x plus 2 there. And that's the final answer. And we shall write it over here. There. And this is equal to 4x plus 2. There. That should be our number 4. Okay, I hope you were able to learn a function input to itself. Okay, let's continue with number 5. Here's number 5. All right, let's put it in the next page there, so we'll have more space. And then we move the next one. So we will only see the 5th number. Okay, here is number 5. There. All right. Here's another example of a function input to itself. Okay, a function input to itself. And we have here f, composition f of x. All right, we shall try to get the solution. Okay, watch it carefully. This will be the solution. And then we start with f of x. This is equal to f of x. There. Again, remember, those parentheses doesn't mean multiply, okay? In this particular notation, okay, it means this is a placeholder, okay? It's the input now to the function f. And the input is actually itself, because you can only have here one function. All right, so we start like this, f of x. That means the input is the same. This will have to be copied. This equivalent will be right here, there. And then what's the original function? Where you see the x in the original function will be replaced by its equivalent. So this is negative of x squared. So this means negative, okay, negative of x squared. All right, so after the negative, we put a parenthesis, and then we shall put the input now, which is the function, there. And then in the original, it's supposed to be squared. So that means you're going to square this. So we write 2, and then we're going to raise this to a power 2. All right, we'll just copy this. This will have to be over here. And there, okay? So you now have the squared, okay? You now have the square there. All right, so we shall try to move this, and let me get the subscript function. The subscript function. All right, let me get that. This will have to return to the, okay, there, original. And then this will now be plus 2x, okay? Plus 2x. So this will have a plus, and then you have the number 2 coefficient times x in the original function. Remember, you have to change this. You will have to change this, okay? You will have to change this. So 2 times x means 2 times this. There. And that will be right here. All right, let's clear this out first. We will hide it again, there. All right, so let me explain this part, okay? It might not be so clear with you. All right, our input is this to itself, okay? All right, so imagine if that should be the input for itself, then it will replace this, okay? It will replace this by the entire equivalent. So you can see here minus, and then here is the original f function squared, and then plus, here is the plus, and then 2 times x here. X will now be equivalent to the original negative x squared plus 2x. It's right here. So the next part is just simplification. All right, we're going to simplify this. Okay, let's do it in the next line. All right, let's start here. Let's just put an equal sign. Okay, that means continuation. So you have the equal sign. All right, you have that minus sign, okay, presiding this quantity here. So you have the minus. Now we're going to square it. Okay, remember squaring a binomial, this negative x squared will become x to the 4th. So this will be x raised to the 4th power. All right, let's get back to our subscript. All right, this will now be raised to the power 4. Okay, like that. And then this will now be, okay, we will return it to the original level. All right, we have just squared this. And then remember, squaring a binomial, it's twice the product of this. So we're going to multiply this times 2. So we're going to encounter a negative 4x cubed, okay? A negative 4x cubed. All right, so we have here negative 4x cubed. So we have here raised to the power 3, there. All right, after that, we're going to continue. We are going to square the second term. That means 4x squared. So we have here a positive 4x squared, there. And then we will have the parenthesis, okay? We're going to have the parenthesis. Now we are in this part, okay? This will now be multiplication. This will be 2 times negative x squared. That is just negative 2x squared. So this is negative 2x squared. So we're going to square it again. This will be over there. And then return it back. All right. Next multiplication is 2. And the 2x, that's a plus 4x. So you have here plus and then 4x. All right, the next part is simplify. We will simplify again. This will just be preceded by a minus sign. This will have this x to the fourth will now be negative. So we'll just put it here, and this will be preceded by a minus sign there. And then when you multiply this, you're going to have a plus 4x cubed. So you're going to have a plus, and then we will just rewrite it there. And then we multiply 4x squared by the negative 1 outside. This will still be negative 4x squared. So we have a minus and a 4x squared. So we're doing multiplication right now there. And then this will now proceed, continuing with these two here. There. And let me put that in the correct level there. Now we will combine like terms. All right. Negative x to the fourth remains negative x to the fourth. So this will be the same with a plus there. So we'll just put it here. All right. Anything we can combine? All right. This will still be the same. There. All right. The 2x squared terms will give us negative 6x squared. So this will be negative 6. And then we have x squared there. There. And then followed by the 4x. The lone 4x is the same. Okay, we cannot actually combine this to any other term. And this must be our final answer here. There. And this is our final new rule. All right, let me clear the board. All right, there. So you have negative x to the fourth plus 4x cubed minus 6x squared plus the 4x. That should give us our fifth number. All right, let's continue with the next. We're doing number 6. I hope you were able to see how this function input to itself is done. All right, so let's continue with the 6th number. And you can always rewind and see how it's done, okay? And you can watch it again later. All right, let's do this part. We have here number 6. G function is 3x squared minus 2x, and the h function is negative 4x plus 4. Find G composition h of x. All right, so we have the G function, and the input is the h function. This is the meaning of this tiny circle, okay? Again, remember, that is not multiplication, okay? That is not multiplication. That means G function will take on the h function as the input. And we explained that in the very first number. All right, so let's continue with number 6. All right, let's continue. This will be the solution. The keyboard sends characters in a different cursor position. So this is the solution. All right, g of h of x, and this means g of h of x. There. All right, so the placeholder for the g is occupied by h. That means we can write this now, g of, all right, let's get the equivalent of h. All right, here's the equivalent of h. There. Then put it inside. That's the input for the g. All right, where you see the x in the g now, okay, where you see the x, all right, right here and right here will be occupied by this expression, okay? Remember the procedure, okay? You replaced the x now with the equivalent of h, okay? And h happens to be this, okay? So that means this will be input to this x and to this x, okay? All right, so let's do that. This will now be 3, okay, times the quantity squared. All right, we will put this, and then you square it. We're going to square this. All right, squared, like that. And so we will continue with minus 2. All right, remember, we're looking at g here. We just wrote 3 times the equivalent of h squared, okay? 3 times the equivalent of h squared there. And then we will continue here. All right, this is minus 2 times x here, times x. That means times this, okay? Times this. So we're going to have like that there, okay? You should learn that part only, and the rest will be easy for you to do. All right, so the rest will be simplification. This will now be, let's continue with the equal sign just here. Okay, you can see here squared, okay? So we will square this, after which we will multiply by 3. So we have here 3 times the quantity. Let's start squaring the inside. Negative 4x times negative 4x is positive 16x squared. So we will have to square this there. And then we shall continue with, all right, the product of negative 4x and 4 and 2. So that means 32 negative x. So this will be minus 32 x there. All right, remember, the product of this and the 4 is negative 16x. And you will have to double that, okay? So that means negative 32x. And then finally, in squaring a binomial, you will have to square the second term here. So we will still have plus 4 times 4, which is 16. And then close parentheses, we're going now in this part. This is minus 2 times negative 4. That's plus 8x there. And then followed by negative 2 and 4 is negative 8. So this is like this. Now we will multiply now by the 3. Okay, what do we have here? This is 48x squared. So 48, and then we'll just get this part there. So that's 48x squared, and then how much is that? That will be I lost the screen. Let's go back to our screen. There. All right. So 48x squared, and then this will be followed by negative 96. That is negative 96. We temporarily lost the screen after a while. A while ago. Negative 96x there. All right. And then that be followed by plus 48 there. And then we have there plus 8x minus 8 there. All right, so that's 48x squared negative 96x plus 48 plus 8x minus 8. Let's see if we can combine some like terms. Okay, I can see here the 96x and 8x. That results to a difference of negative 88x. So the next line will be, we will just rewrite the 48x squared. Okay, we will just rewrite this. And then this will be followed by negative 88x, the result of negative 96x and the 8x. And then we have here a plus 48 and a minus 8. That should be about 40 there. And this must be our final answer. This must be our final answer. And this will be the required g of h of x. All right, I hope you were able to get this number 6. Let's continue with the next number. Okay, here's number 7. Okay, the given function is f of n equals 2n. The second one is g of n equal to n squared minus 3. We're asked to get f of g of 8. All right. Now, what do we mean by f of g of 8, or f composition g of 8? First, we will get the function g using the number 8. And then the result of that will be fed into the f function. All right, so how do we do this? We will start with our solution after a little while. And this will be okay, we start with the word solution and then this. Okay, now let's see how we get g of 8. All right, let's get the g of 8 first. Let's do it over here. So we have here g of n. Let's start with g of n so that we will have it clearer. Okay, let's start with the g of n. All right, here. Now imagine you're going to have the input 8 replacing the n here. So the next line will be, all right, this will now be, let's do it in the next line. All right. Okay, this is how it looks like. Replace this with 8. There. Therefore, you will replace this n with 8 also, like that. And so, what we're going to have here will be now something like 64. Okay, that's 64 minus 3. There. And so we have 61. There. Okay, so g of 8 is equal to 61. Now we're ready to do the required. All right, we're asked to get this. Okay, we're asked to get this one. So that means we're going to have here f of g of 8, and this means f of 61. F of 61 there. Okay, all right, let's put these things lower. Okay, all right, now f of 61, that means this n here in the f function will now be occupied by 61. Okay, and so this will just become 61, and this n here of the f function will become 61. So that means we have 2 times 61 there. Okay, and now we have 122, and that is the required value and the required answer. So that means this is equivalent to 122. There, that should be the answer. That's how to obtain or evaluate a given composite function with a numerical value. So the instruction here is find the value of the f of g when the value of the variable is 8. Okay, so let's continue with number 8. Where's number 8? Oh, it's down here. All right. Okay, so we shall try to put this up. And then try to put this lower. Okay, now we have here number 8. G of x is equal to 4x minus 3. And then f of x is equal to 2x squared minus x. You're asked to get G composition f of -2. So first you can actually get the equivalent and then use the, you can actually use the -2. But it's much easier to use the number right away. Okay, use the number right away. So in our solution, to have it simpler, okay, we shall get f of -2, because in the first place, this is equivalent to something like this. It will be equal to g of f of -2, like this. So that means we will get first f of -2, okay? We shall try to obtain f of -2 first. All right, what is f of -2 first? All right, let's do it somewhere away here. Okay, f of -2 first. There. Okay, now if you focus on the f function, okay, you can see here f of x is equal to 2x squared minus x. So that means we will begin with 2, and then the input -2 occupies the x. So this is -2, and then we're going to square it. All right, we're going to square this. squared. There, all right. After which, we'll continue with minus x. Okay, so we have a minus what? Minus the value of x, and in this case, it's -2. So minus -2. There. All right, so if you are going to check the f function is f of x equal to 2x squared minus x. Now, if ever the x becomes a number, that number will be seen in place of all x in the equation. So this is 2 times -2 squared, well, you can see it here, okay? And then minus x, that means minus the same, -2. Now this will just be evaluating the equivalent or finding the equivalent. So this is 2, and then this will be -2 squared is a +4, like that. And this gives also minus -2 is +2, there. And so this gives us just 10, there. And so we're now ready to make use of f of -2, which is 10, and we can use it here. All right, we continue now with our original requirement. This is now equal to g of 10, there, okay? Because f of -2 in the first place is now computed to 10. Now we're going to use this 10 input to the g function. All right, let's focus on the g function. G of x is equal to 4x minus 3. So this means equal to 4 times x means 4 times 10 minus 3, there. And this must be equal to 40 minus 3, and this will just be equal to 37. That's the answer. So the required answer is 37. And so this will be our final answer for this. So this must be equal to 37, like that. All right, that goes to our number 8. Let's continue with evaluating composite functions. Let's go down to number 9. Okay, here is number 9. Let's move it downwards. There. Okay, here is number 9. Okay, h of x is equal to 2x plus 3. G of x is equal to 3x plus 1. Find the value of h of g of -5. All right, so again, we'll be using the notation. Okay, let's use this part. And we have this. All right, now this is equal to h of g of -5. And first, you have to find what g of -5 is. All right, we shall begin with the g function. Let's start with the g function. Okay, it's over here. Now, g of -5 means the x will be replaced by -5. All right, so you're going to change this with a -5, and where you see the x will also be replaced by -5. There. So that means this is just equal to -15 plus 1. There. And this is -14. There. So g of -5 is -14. So this means you can now replace this g input with the -14. So to continue with this will now be equal to h of -14. There. Okay, we're now focused on the h function. Where you see the x in the h function will be occupied now by the -14. So this is now 2 times, you can see the h function, you have 2x plus 3. That means 2 times the -14 plus 3. There. Okay, let me just arrange this. All right, so this will continue like -28 and then plus 3. And we have something like -25. There. And the final answer is -25. So this must be equal to -25. There. That should be it for number 9. And for our last number, let's have the number 10. Okay, I believe number 10 is down here. So can we just recall it up? There. All right. We have here a G function. We're asked to get G of G. All right. This time it's input to itself. So we shall start with the solution with the equivalent notation that we have. So this is the way we do it. All right, G of G means input to itself. So this is G of G of 8. That should be 8 there. All right, so we will start with G of 8 first. All right, let's get the value of G of 8 first. Let's do it somewhere here. There. And then where you see the n will be replaced by 8. So you have here like n will be replaced by 8. And in the equation, that's negative 3n minus 2. It will become negative 3 times 8. So this will be times 8, like that. And this will be evaluated to something like negative 24 minus 2, which is negative 26. There. So we now have G of 8. Now we can now continue with the next step here. Let me just arrange this. All right, this will now be G of negative 26, okay? So this will now be equal to G of 8. All right, so this is actually now G of negative 26 there. All right, you now go back to the original function, okay, here. All right, and where you see the n will be occupied now by negative 26. So this will now be minus 3 times negative 26, like that, minus 2, equals how much? That is actually, that's be a positive number, okay? Looks like a 78 there. 3 times 6, 18, carry 1, 78. Then this will be minus 2. We have something like 76. So the final answer is 76. And that's it. We're done with all the numbers, and we have discussed 10 examples. Okay. I hope you will be able to do your ingenuity questions there. And I hope you can see this recorded. All right. Just rewind it. Okay. There's the first number. Okay. The second number. The third. Okay. And you have the fourth. Okay. You have the fifth. You have the sixth there. And then you have the seventh, the eighth. Here's number 9. And then our final last number is over here. All right. So I hope you learn from these examples and do your activities. This will be all for now. Bye-bye.